really can't use Instagram as far as posting your own content if you don't allow it to see the files and photos on your phone. I'm Caron Shahrestani. I am the social media manager for Marin Open Studios. So today we're talking about Instagram basics. This is going to be a half-hour training, and then we'll have Q&A at the end. I will be showing you screenshots of the app because we are on, or I am on, a desktop computer, and how you view Instagram on a computer is different than how you view it on your phone. Instagram. This of the two social media platforms we've covered so far, between Instagram and Facebook, Instagram is the younger platform because it does attract a predominantly younger demographic compared to Facebook. To be clear, Instagram is owned by Facebook, and so in a way, Instagram has this unique appeal, but it's all the same company for the most part. And as far as budget, you might hear people be like, oh, I'm done with Facebook, but they still stay on Instagram. There's a very specific appeal to it, and it mostly has to do with the fact that it is predominantly visual. I come from a newspaper reporting background. I see Facebook as being very much like a newspaper. There is information there, there is research there, but there's a lot of advertising, like inch for inch, a lot of advertising in your face all the time. I see Instagram as more of like a glossy magazine. Any magazine, fashion, interior decorating, but like where the photo quality and the images are more important than the text or the information that goes with them. So keep that in mind when you think about whether or not you want to invest the time in Instagram, or if you think, oh, I can only do one platform, I can't do both. We only have so many hours in a day because we are creating art. And I don't know about you, but I sometimes would love to just create art all day and not even be on social media at all. That said, we work in the visual arts. This is the more visual platform. And as much as we all know some of our current or existing clientele to be older in age or demographic, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't constantly be throwing out digital nets for young demographics, the next round, the next generation of art consumers. And we all know that culture ebbs and flows. So sometimes young people only want digital things and fast fashion from China, and then the next generation is like, no, let's grow our own food and live off the grid. So just know that at any time in the history of things, people have fluctuated. Consumers have kind of adapted to think, do I have money for original art? Can I support original art? Do I really want to support a living artist? Or do I want to just buy a print? A Van Gogh print. So Instagram is a huge marketplace for all types of artists and all types of art. But now, especially during the quarantine, it is just becoming inundated and overrun with people who are just like, okay, well, I've got the time at home and I've got my craft right here with me, so I'm finally going to dig into this platform. So some of my clients have been saying, oh, I haven't been getting as many likes, which we'll talk about, and I haven't had as many followers, which we'll talk about, in the last month. And it's like, yeah, because everything's kind of getting diluted in this big rush, this avalanche of new activity from people being home and deciding to finally dig into that new thing. So someone said, can some of these webinars be viewed at a later date? Yes, they're all on YouTube. This one not yet, but it will be by next Wednesday. Someone asked, is video format better in portrait mode for Instagram? We'll get to that. And what about publishing stories? We're going to touch on stories, but I would say that's almost an advanced concept. So we'll get to that later. Alrighty. So Instagram basics. Why you should share your art on Instagram, how to find new art clients via direct messages, and tips for creating a visually stunning feed. We will be doing advanced Instagram trainings down the line as these workshops keep going, but today we're just touching on the basic concepts, which are navigating your feed and notifications, updating your profile pic, bio, and website, how to find your friends, posting photos and videos of art, Instagram stories, we're going to touch on it, engagement, likes, and comments, and using direct messages to sell your art. For those who attended the Facebook training last week, there is some overlap with the topic today in that you'll notice some of the same terms, engagement, likes, and comments, using direct messages to sell your art. These are things we touched on in last week's training as it relates to Facebook specifically. So just, bear in mind if you're already, oh, I know about that already. This is, trying to make it customized to each platform. So if we are getting first into navigating feed and notifications. So this is your feed, or what you see when you log into Instagram. When it first started, Instagram was entirely chronological, and what you saw was the most recent thing posted to the platform at all, as far as people you follow. Now there's so many people on the platform that can no longer be, or that is no longer the algorithm. Instead, the robots decide what to show you when you log in, every time you log in, even if you just logged in 5 minutes ago. So similar to Facebook, anytime you entered the platform, it's going to put something in front of you. It's going to feed something to you that it thinks you are more likely to engage with. And that means at any time, Instagram is studying and judging whose content, art, quotes, posts, whatever, is going to perform best. It'll based on what's happened historically, but also just based off of different indicators and elements to the post. So for the purposes of just your basic feed, we have the direct message inbox, which is in the upper right corner. When you first log in, it looks like a little paper airplane. You also would typically have a string of little circles right below the Instagram name that are your stories. I'll get to those in a second, but those would appear here as well. This is a post that we're seeing right here by a woman named Elizabeth Gilmore. I just got this and pulled it off the internet, so I don't know who she is, but here's her fun photo. So this is a photo post. You can have a video post, and you can also have a post with more than one photo or more than one video. If she were to have more than one photo, you would swipe with your finger to the left and you would see other options. As in on your phone, you would touch and drag to the left. Her caption is missing summer. So this little X would go right here. Missing summer with a little emoji that indicates a heart. And so a comment would appear below a caption. And then here at the bottom of every screen in the Instagram app on your phone is the main menu. So if you're ever on Instagram and you're like, where am I? What's happening? Why can't I back out? Why can't I post? Why can't I see my profile? You need to look at this bottom panel, this tab, if you will, and this is your menu that is consistent throughout the app. The only time you won't see this is when you're in the middle of posting something, but otherwise, this is what you come back to. So these 5 insignia guide you through the app and also help you find your notifications. Anytime someone has liked a post, commented on a post, or follows you, a notification will be sent to you from the app. If you have your notifications for email and push notifications, meaning text notifications, if you have those turned off, then it's really just what's going to be showing with this little heart. So you can see on hers, there's a notification little red bubble and it has a heart, meaning you've had 2 likes of your content since the last time you logged in, and a comment, as in someone has commented on one of your posts since you last logged in. So home is feed, this thing that looks like a house, that's where you start when you first enter the app, and that's the top of your feed. Anytime you press that, it'll take you right back to this first screen. Then you have what looks to you like a magnifying glass. This is how you're going to find your friends. This is also how you find new content and people to be inspired by. This is how people find art. So we'll get to that later. The plus mark is posting. That can include a photo post, like I said, a video post, or a multiple photo video post. The heart button is notifications, likes, comments, etc. And then this little person, a head with shoulders, is how you get home or to your profile on Instagram, where it's your name and your bio and your website. And then on every post, you'll see these 3 options for engaging with the post, meaning that the person who posted it can get a notification that tells them that you've taken an action. You can like something, which is the heart, and it'll go red if you tap it while you're using the app. You can comment, on a post, emojis or love this or a whole long comment if you want. And then another paper airplane, just like we saw in the upper corner. This is to share it either to stories, or you can actually take a link and share it on places like Facebook or LinkedIn or other parts of the internet. So these are the 3 ways underneath every single photo that you can engage with content on Instagram. When we get into profiles, and specifically on our to-do list, updating your profile photo, updating your bio, updating your website. So this is what Marin Open Studios looks like to me, the manager, meaning that this is the back end of a profile. How do I know it's about back end? Meaning like admin only access. It has a button for editing the profile. So you would not see this if you were to go to Marin Open Studios on Instagram right now. This is how it appears to me. So this is how your profile appears to you on Instagram if you have a business account. So similar to Facebook, it's possible to have a personal account. It's also possible to have a business account that you can advertise with, which is why the next button is promotions. So Instagram knows that Marin Open Studios, even if it's a nonprofit, wants the capability of advertising and boosting or promoting a post with money. And because of that, it is allowed different permissions, statistics, and analytics about the people who follow you on this platform. So if you're an artist who's like, should I be business, should I be personal? It's much less commitment to just switch your Instagram account to a business account than it is on Facebook to have a personal profile, like we talked about last week, and a business page, which are 2 completely different things to handle. And then contact, I would be able to change our contact information. These circles right here are stories, temporary, as in within 24 hours, a story would disappear. I'll show you an example of a story in a moment. These are the circles you would see at the top of your feed when you log in that are something, because it disappears, some people actually enjoy seeing temporary posts that they know are going to disappear more than a feed post. We'll get to why shortly. So if you wanted to update your name, update your photo, update your bio, or change or update your website, that identifying information on Instagram, you would hit edit profile on your profile. They make it pretty easy and obvious because this is on a phone. It's got to be like in big letters and everything. Change profile photo. It's within a circle, so you will be able to crop it to fit in there, to fit in the circle nicely. Your name, your username. This is where you put your website, and your bio. So you can see that the bio is nonprofit organization, etc. When you click this or tap this, it opens into its own little editing thing. Your keyboard pops up and you can type in your bio. There is a character limit. You cannot write on and on and on and on. So something short, something quick, but something that's like, are you a landscape painter? Are you an oil painter? Are you a glass blower? Any kind of description of your craft goes there, and you want that. Posting. So when we were in the first window, or actually we can go here for a second. So when we're on the platform, like I said, here's your menu at the bottom, and the one in the middle with the plus is to create a new post. So if we were to create a post right now and press the little plus button, you would have the option to potentially filter or edit any image that is on your phone or your device. So you can see there's, names for different filters. When you click edit, you can actually do contrast, highlights, saturation. You don't necessarily want to manipulate that much of the visual of your art, but if it needs to be brightened a little bit, all of that can be done within Instagram. When you click next after you post, this is where you would have a caption. It says write a caption. You can tag Marin Open Studios, which is ampersand, the @ insignia, Marin Open Studios with no spaces. If you are at ICB, even if people aren't going to come visit you, or you are at MSA, you can put that location there. So it actually shows up on a map. And then if you do have a business page or a business account, you can have the option of linking them and have it cross-post to that platform at the same time. So this is the flow. Pick the image, edit it if you need to, add a caption and some descriptive information, and you click share up here in the right corner, and that goes to live to your feed. When you do video, It's a different story because sometimes video is rectangular. You can also have art, let's be clear, that's rectangular. And so here, if you can look on the first panel, this little gray circle with 2 corner brackets, if you were to tap that on your phone, it'll toggle between a square and a widescreen horizontal crop. It will do the same thing if you had a vertical video, something you shot with your phone upright. It would have the same option to toggle between the two. Just know that this wider screen ratio is only available left to right horizontally. The up to down ratio is less so. So I've had art clients who have not been happy with Instagram in that they have to sometimes crop their canvas or crop their art to be smaller or a different shape than it is originally. So just keep that in mind, that not only do you use this to toggle between widescreen or square, but you might think of how best to orient your art or frame it on a wall or something so that you have extra space and you don't actually have to crop the artwork itself. When you choose a video and upload, and you can see this is how it looks when gallery is what my phone calls all of the photo and video images on my phone. So this is just pulling straight from my smartphone. These little squares are samples. And you can see this one that's slightly whited out and it says 25 seconds. It's a 25-second time lapse. When you select that and you go next, for this one, you have filtering, same as photos, trim, which you would take this little white dot or this little white dot and drag it left or right to make the video shorter or longer. And then you can choose a cover, which is this third screen, where you would basically hold your finger down on this little track and go left or right and pick what you want the cover photo to be for your video. Because when people are looking at Instagram feeds or search results, there might be a bunch of video options, but they don't automatically play. So you want to choose a really nice, you can see with this one, I like to choose when I'm doing a painting time lapse, I'd like to have a shot that shows my brush in there or shows my hand in there. That's a personal preference. I could have not chosen a cover photo, but this is the beginning of the canvas where you can't even see that it ends up being a dog portrait. If you were deciding between these two images on which video to watch, would you want to watch a video with a little blue canvas and see how that was made, or would you want to watch the one with the dog? So the cover photo is very important when you upload a video to Instagram. Once you choose the cover, upper right corner again, you click next, and then it's going to be pretty much the same that it is for a photo post, in that you do caption, tag us, Marin Open Studios, or MSA or ICB, they all have their own accounts. Location, again, MSA, ICB. If you are at home, you could just say Sausalito or Larkspur. It doesn't have to be a specific place. And then share. A video post usually takes a little longer to actually upload and appear on Instagram, so make sure you keep the app open anytime you upload an image or a video to the platform. When you want to look at stories, like I said, those are at the top of your feed when you first log in. They also can be saved in what are called highlights, which are collections of stories that, okay, yeah, it's supposed to disappear in 24 hours, this vertical content, but I want to keep it for later. So if you go to Marin Open Studios on Instagram, you'll see I have done a category for art quotes, like this one right here. I've done one for art events, our artists, and this was from the second weekend last year. So it's a completely vertical, up and down post, and this can, in the same way that you would have a post with tagging another account, hashtags, we could do a whole separate training on stories and how it's different than posting. But just know that that is becoming increasingly popular for consumers on this platform, is liking that vertical posts that potentially disappear. Americans in particular like this idea of consuming something that's in short supply or that's going to expire, which is why all of the toilet paper sold out. Because people are like, oh my gosh, it's going to be gone. I need to buy as much of it as I can. Oh my gosh, this post isn't going to be existing for more than 24 hours. I better look at it right now. Silly as it sounds, that's how it works. when you want to find someone or message someone, taking us back up here. So when you first log in, you can see that the second element on our menu is search. When you tap search, you will get a little kind of results page that comes up, and then you can type in the name of someone and they'll come up in a list of names. And so if I wanted to message Shiva, for instance, this is Shiva's art salon, I would then click her face and be able to send her a direct message. In this screenshot, Shiva saw a story that I did on Instagram and responded and said, awesome, can't wait to see the exhibit. And that goes into your direct message inbox, like an email. So keep that in mind as a point of engagement, that playing with stories does increase how much people engage with your content. With video, once you posted it, you'll see right here, this says take a tour at the bottom of, this is how the profile currently looks. I haven't posted yet today. That each of these has a little, what's supposed to look like a video camera. So each of these squares on the Marin Open Studios Instagram is a video. And if you were to tap it, it would open up and play. And it keeps that little video insignia in the corner so that someone, when they're deciding whether or not to consume a post, can be like, oh, do I want to just look at a photo or watch a video? So direct messages, again, just like we talked about in Facebook, these are private messages between you and someone who has potentially engaged with your art. And we can see, oh, recognize that dog? So when we go to that post, and I talked about this in the last training, for my art post, I like to show an image of the art, and this is a triple post, a detail shot of the art, and a time lapse that shows the art from start to finish. This has been my tried and true way of generating an interest in my art, because people feel like they can see all of the hours that go into it. They can see my process. It's therapeutic sometimes for people to just zone out and watch something like this, especially now when people are kind of overwhelmed with news and everything else. Some people just want to see you like make art. And when it's in a time lapse like this is, and sped up so quickly, it goes by fast enough, less than 30 seconds, that someone might watch it several times, which ends up performing well for you on the platform. You end up getting more likes and more comments, and your content is fed to more people that way. So you can see that I did a little caption. I tagged the person who commissioned the art from me. I did a bunch of hashtags, which are search terms for this platform, in the same way that you would on Google have search terms for shopping for art. For instance, if I were to choose San Francisco art, and I just tapped that, this is a hashtag search result that shows me in recent analytics on Instagram, at least 136,074 posts have used this hashtag. The first 9 that we see are top posts, meaning these are the most popular, the most commented on, the most engaged with, and from what Instagram thinks, the most likely to get more likes and posts and engagement. So when you hear about something going viral, it's because the robots decided it should go viral. We can see how these are beautiful pieces of art. Bright, colorful, sharp, visually stunning, right? Then you get to the category of most recent, which is chronological, but these are all just search results for San Francisco art. You could start using the hashtag San Francisco art right now, and when someone looks that up, they might scroll through like this until a specific piece of art really speaks to them. So let's just say I'm going along, San Francisco art, maybe I'm interested in getting a custom commission, right? Maybe I want to buy something for my mom for Mother's Day, who knows? Let's say I go here. As seen on screen art. Now, here's what happens on Instagram. So when someone is looking you up and they're deciding whether or not to buy your art, they scope you out in a couple of different ways. One, they scope you out visually. That's a nice feed. I mean, sharp, bright. These are most likely, you know, photos taken off the internet with this person's art put on a wall with a computer program. So maybe not a lot of, you know, actual original images of the art, but more like, what would my art look like on a wooden wall? If you were to go to the farthest back, the oldest post on this profile right now is March 26th. Just about a week after everybody started crowding onto the internet because of the pandemic and the quarantine. So this person created this account. I mean, it could be older, but as far as this history shows, this person created this account in the last month, has only kept to these topics, this type of art, this type of decor. They only have 69 followers, 154 posts. That's a lot of posting, but they're not following anybody back. And there isn't anything about a specific artist. So I don't know about you, but after looking at this person's profile, I wouldn't feel compelled to purchase their art necessarily. I'd be like, okay, yeah, no, I mean, that's cool. But so if I were to go back to my own profile and, for instance, this is a friend of mine. He does a lot of emoji comments. I do emoji comments. It's a shallow way of interacting with people on any platform. It's quick and dirty though, allows you to engage with a lot of people over a short period of time. So he's like, hard eyes, hard eyes, hard eyes. Backstory, this is a paid commission client who has the most adorable dog. The dog has their own Instagram account, and we're about to get to questions, but trust me, cutest dog ever. And so he's engaging with my content because I've already done a painting for him. But if he was someone who engaged with my content like this with a little comment, and I had never reached out to them about the idea of painting their dog, then I would click that person's name, go to their profile, make sure it's the person that I think it is, and then you can see right next to their name is the option to message somebody. If I click message, it'll open up whatever previous conversation me and that person have had. And if we go back far enough, we'll see that at one point I was showing him the pictures of his dog that I painted. And so you would essentially message that person and say, I love your dog, they're so adorable, would you be interested in a portrait? Why? Because they just participated, they just engaged, they just told you via Facebook, or Instagram at least, that they're interested in your art on a basic level. His dog has 4,000 followers. That's more than I have. But this is why it's a younger demographic. If you're, let's say, a teenager or a 20-something, and the world is just really overwhelming and like kind of has been since birth for this current generation, like they are just inundated with messaging and advertising and television and internet and everything, maybe they just want to log on and just look at dogs. Like maybe the only thing they want to look at to feel good, to feel happy, to feel anything is to just see cute pictures of dogs. So when you stick to a topic that works and you are, like we talked about last week, posting relevant, quality, consistent content, even if it's once a week, people reward that and the robots reward that. If you stay in the predictable space of whatever industry you define yourself as, people will follow you. It is an absolutely adorable dog. The single most successful Instagram artist, painter, professional painter who sells on Instagram is this woman, Ashley Longshore Art. 288,000 followers. That's not as many as Kim Kardashian, but this woman actually hosts VIP email list auctions, live social media auctions, and she has celebrity clientele. Her single most recognizable, most sellable piece of art are her Audrey paintings. She does different things painted on the heads of an Audrey. Almost always the exact same profile. She does a lot of really funny political stuff. She does a lot of really out there pop art. Her two favorite hashtags are pop art and fuck yeah, pardon my French. And so she is sassy and out there, and she isn't always just posting about art, but she's kind of a crazy individual. You can see, so she's doing kind of what she does with Audrey, but she does it with Elizabeth Taylor. So if there's any one artist to follow to see kind of how to succeed in this specific field, definitely follow her, Ashley Longshore Art, because she's making major money. Like, she has clients flying her on jets. She just finished doing a complete makeover of an entire floor of Bergdorf Goodman, which isn't getting any action right now, but an entire cafe in that department store is covered in her art, and all the chairs are covered in her art, and everything is her art. So this woman is massively successful as a living artist, and most of her buzz is generated on this platform. Next question. Can you do a 3-part post on a regular page versus a business page? Yes, you can do the multiple photos or multiple videos Instagram post on either type of profile or business page. Either one, you can do that multiple photo or multiple video post. How many hashtags do you usually put into a post? Excellent question, Melissa. You can do up to 30. However, if you get too close to that number, it'll actually work in the opposite way. So I do between 20 and 25 on pretty much every post, just to cast a big net. And you can see how when you just go to like the search at the top or the little magnifying glass and you type in a hashtag term, it'll show you whether or not the results are in the millions or in the hundreds of thousands. And I would pick one that's in a midway point. You don't want to compete with hashtags that are like 8 million. So like hashtag art, A-R-T, on its own will not work in your favor. That is a drop in the ocean. However, San Francisco art, Bay Area art, Marin County artist, landscape portrait artist, oil on canvas artist, any long-term descriptives will be a better selection of eyeballs. How would I change my handle or name on Instagram? So in the earlier part of the training, we talked about how you can change your name, your bio, your website, all in the edit profile screen. That's where you can change the actual handle. Know that as soon as you change your handle, there's a chance that somebody else might scoop it up. Let's say there's another Anne-Marie de Riviera out there, and she's been waiting for you to free up her name, and you're like, maybe I just want to be Anne-Marie Art. And you might actually lose a previous version of your Instagram name, which is not like a horrible thing. Like, we can all change our names, but just know that the specific handle, the @ name that you have on Instagram, once you change it, you might lose it. So change that thoughtfully. Can you upload content from your phone and on your computer? I thought Instagram was just for phones, but all my content is on the computer. So we can get to this, Carol, in a future training, but in short, I use Google Drive, and I actually download a Google Drive app to my phone. I put all of my art in the Google Drive cloud, and I open Google Drive on my phone and download an individual image and post it to Instagram. That's also like, because I do professional photography and videography, that's how I access that professional content that was not made on a phone, is I use Google Drive from my computer, and then I actually download the Google Drive app on my phone and then take down an individual image. Instagram wants to have access to my phone photos. Is it safe to grant access? Why would I do that? So the only way Instagram can post something from your camera or from your phone is if you allow it to access it. So you really can't use Instagram as far as posting your own content if you don't allow it to see the files and photos on your phone. So you have to allow that. I know it sounds creepy, but that's why it's free. Can you please talk about the importance of tagging and how it helps to get followers? So hashtagging is going to be our next Instagram topic. Our Instagram Advanced is going to be predominantly about tagging and hashtagging, tagging other people like Marin Open Studios and hashtagging like San Francisco Art. So we will get to that next time. Do I want to convert to a business account? I say yes, because as soon as you do that on Instagram, you're able to see deeper statistics about how old are the people who are looking at your art, what time of day are they looking at your art, do they look at it from a computer or a phone, and if you were to ever advertise at any point, $5 here, $10 there, you get even deeper statistics about people who like and comment on your art posts. So it helps you learn about people who are actually consuming your content. If I get a business account, does my name change? No. Same name. Do you have to type all those hashtags all the time? How can they be saved? I use Google Drive to take content from the cloud and put it to my phone. I use Google Keep, which is a yellow button with a little light bulb in it, also a free app. And essentially Google Keep is like a note-taking app on the internet, like sticky notes, that kind of thing, where I just basically have hashtags in different categories like dog art and cat art, right? I'm not going to post a picture of a dog, a painting of a dog, and then say cat painting, custom cat portrait, I love cats, cat mom. That's not going to capture the right eyeballs. So with each category, I type out those hashtags once, I do the research once, save them in the little sticky notes. You could also do it on Drive, but the sticky notes are kind of easier to navigate, whereas Drive is actually like, you know, a full-on cloud service and system. What's your take on Instagram hacking? Instagram and Twitter have a much larger issue with hacking and robots or fake accounts. And so on any given day, hundreds or thousands or hundreds of thousands of fake accounts can be created on either Twitter or Instagram. So at any time when you see someone who does have millions of followers, if you were to go and see and click on some of the faces and names of some of those followers, it's just a robot. It's not actually a human. It was an account created by an algorithm that just kind of blasts messages out through code. And so unfortunately, you have the ability to both capture a wide audience on Instagram, like much wider than Facebook, but you got to accept that a certain amount of that action is going to be potentially fake accounts. And so when it comes to hacking, just know that there are people with nefarious goals in mind that are cruising around that platform just as much as Facebook or LinkedIn. But Facebook and LinkedIn tend to have much more stringent guidelines on creating an account and putting in your birth year and making sure it's a real name, etc. To make sure that you are not a victim of Instagram hacking, meaning that someone potentially takes over your account, locks you out of the account, you lose all of your content, etc., I would update the app every time there is one, because a big part of why these apps have updates is to have the highest security level against the most recent threats online. Another tip is to change your password periodically, because that's one way that things can kind of get a little sticky, is your Instagram is then linked to your Facebook. So what if one of those gets compromised? Are both of them compromised? Just think of, you know, that safety of changing your password periodically. I posted a photo directly from my photo album. Any reason not to do so? No. You can actually, on Instagram, you can technically let Instagram access Google Drive directly or iPhoto directly or any of these other programs you have on your phone. I typically just take the actual image, put it on my phone manually, and then upload from my phone directly. That's how I do it. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening. Enjoy the rest of your week. I'll see you next Wednesday.